Greetings, Light Tribe. Janine Palmer, Spirit Silver Moon here. Harmony Energy Healing. Sacred Sessions. This one is about the power of apology. So sometimes if we do something to someone or someone does something to us, or at least it appears that way, and there's different perspectives or different things that affect how we feel about whatever it is. And it might feel hurtful. And sometimes people think they have to have an apology to be able to forgive or move on or whatever, because they feel like that person needs to acknowledge and recognize what they did and they need to own up to it. Okay. But we don't have to have an apology in order to move forward, in order to realize there's things we might not understand, and to be able to disconnect and detach and give ourselves permission to move forward and move on and to heal and whatever that is, even if we don't have an apology from anybody. Okay. So the power of apology, the power of no apology, the absence of apology, and whatever our thought forms about that are, whatever our mindset is, our expectations or lack of expectations, because whenever we don't have expectations for anything, we're way ahead of the game. And then for apology, though, sometimes it's very powerful to be able to apologize for something. It's healing, it's freeing. And some people don't have a problem apologizing. Other people do. And maybe it's because they don't want to admit that they were wrong. I don't know if they can admit it to themselves, but they certainly don't want to admit it to the people that were offended by anything they did or whatever. They might not be able to admit it to that person and apologize, because if they apologize, it's admitting a wrong, and they don't want to admit that they did anything. They don't want to be seen in that light. They're hiding. So it's kind of like hiding from a shadow side or something. I don't know. But to me, oftentimes I've noticed, like, if I realize, oh crap, I screwed up, I feel better to apologize, to say, you know what, I didn't understand that was the case, and so I'm sorry for what I said, what I did, or because we might have a viewpoint that might change, and then we can say, okay, I understand it differently now. That's freeing to me to be able to own it, say my bad, oops, sorry, didn't mean it like that, or whatever. Sometimes we mean what we say and we're not sorry for it because we feel very strong in that conviction, whether we're right or wrong. Sometimes we're very right and we know we're right. Sometimes we think we're right and we don't know we might not be right. Okay, so we're standing our ground and standing up for something we believe in, therefore we probably think we don't have to apologize. So even sometimes I can say, you know what, I'm sorry that things are the way they are right now, even though sometimes we might say, I'm not going to apologize for something I didn't do, but I'm sorry that the situation is like it is. I'm sorry you're upset. I'm sorry you feel that way. We can be sorry that someone's upset, even if we're not sorry that because we feel like we didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes we don't want to admit wrongdoing. Sometimes we really honestly believe we didn't do something wrong. Therefore, we either don't want to apologize or feel like we shouldn't apologize. We can still be apologetic without admitting fault. But what's wrong with, this earth life is about mistakes and learning from them. And so sometimes there's fault, intentional or unintentional. So especially if it's unintentional, it seems to be a lot easier to apologize for that. But if it's intentional, that might be harder to apologize for. So the power of apology, I think it empowers us to be able to be courageous enough and strong enough and open enough and honest enough to apologize. If we can, if it's appropriate. Now, if we can't apologize to someone directly, for whatever reason, if we can apologize to ourselves, that might help. In other words, if we say, I just can't bring myself to speak to that person about it, I don't know what word I wouldn't want to use, but if we can't bring ourselves to talk to the person about it directly, even if we can apologize to ourselves in our own way, have acknowledgement of it, have recognition of it, and we can do that in our own way in prayer and meditation too, grounding, healing, whatever. So even if it's only apologizing to yourself, it's still probably healing on some level. Okay, so this is just about the power of apology, whatever that is to you. And if you cannot bring yourself to apologize for something, why? Because if you feel really, really, really strong in your conviction that you are standing up for something you believe in, you believe you're right in that, you can say, you know what, this is something I feel very strongly about, and I don't mean to hurt you with it. I'm sorry you feel hurt. Right? Still an apology. Even if you're not apologizing for what you believe in or what you're standing up for, you can still say something like, I don't know. It's up to the individual what they do or don't do. And people don't have to do anything. But if they're stuck and their relationships aren't improving and they want to know why, this is something that you can look at a little bit more closely. Is to have that dialogue with yourself, even if that's the only person that you do it with. And that's all for this one. Peace.